With us now in the Chaos TV studio, we're joined by Julie and Sonia, both here to talk about the world of social prescribing. We spoke to Julie last month about her role as Social Prescribing coordinator. Today we're going to learn more about Sonia's new role as Children and Young People Social Prescriber. Thank you both for coming in today.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you for dealing with my question for the nation there. It's always what's your opinions actually? Just before we get into the seriousness, what would you rather do? Would you rather have Christmas away? Would you rather have it at home?
No hesitation, home for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing the sunshine if I'm honest. So if there was an opportunity and it was safe, then yeah, I'd love to be in the warm sunshine.
I think that's very fair as well. Sometimes we need a bit of a break. We need a bit of a change from it all. When we always have it one way, we're going to want to have it the other, aren't we? Yeah. Anyway, thank you for both coming in. Really appreciate it. So, Julie, can I start with you? What have you been up to since we last had you in? It feels like yesterday. It really does. I can't believe a month's gone by. It's strange.
Well, it's business as usual, really. We've the team have been taking referrals, working with individuals, carrying on, as I say, business as usual. My role has been working with the team, and we've set up quite a bit of training and our meetings where we share good practice. That sort of takes place very regularly. So the sort of training that the link workers have been involved in are some sessions on autism and people with learning disabilities. We've had some input from cancer services, and some of the team have completed their coaching conversations courses as well. So yeah, busy time. Also looking at future developments really for social prescribing and where that's going, funding, and how we can keep developing, what we've built on really. Hence why Sonia's role is developing the young people's side of social prescribing. That's quite to the fore at the moment. So yeah.
Fantastic. Could I stay sort of on this and talk? Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up. People might want to know if you've still got a social prescribing happening, or if they've still got social prescribing going on in their area over the period. What do you know anything about what's going on with that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think each surgery is going to vary, to be honest, with their hours, and obviously some people will be taking leave at some point, but it will vary the picture across the whole county. But the best advice is still contact your surgery direct to book an appointment to speak to a social prescriber. So there will be some service, but it will vary across the county.
And should people actually need to contact you should they need help, how can people do that?
Well, again, it's best to sort of contact the surgery first, but we do have a list of social prescribers and their contact details as well. So, you could contact me, you can take details after the programme today, and then if you send them to me, I can get some details out to people as well.
Fantastic,
okay.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Now, I want to talk more about social prescribing as a career now. Obviously, I want to bring you in as well, Sonia. Thank you for waiting there. So I want to talk qualifications first. What skills, what qualifications are there? What would you need for a career in social prescribing? What would you say is important? And are there sort of multiple ways we can get in?
I think probably important thing is being good with people, having a background and being able to work with people, being able to listen. Some of the training that Julie mentioned, coaching conversations, has been very useful about active listening and T-grow methods and things like that. Being a people person and being able to compile, I think, resources as well. Certainly as a young person, social prescriber, I'm gathering information and trying to get that all together, so I've got stuff to signpost to. So background in youth and community work for a young person, social prescriber, good with people, managing that sort of thing.
Fantastic, really. I mean, I can imagine there's quite a few people who have these kind of skills but don't really realise it just from doing whatever they do day to day. And sometimes I can imagine it takes a moment to think about, well, actually, I do a lot of this for my family, or I do a lot of sort of getting information and pointing people in the right direction. If you, say, care for someone, would that be sort of something that would be helpful in coming into this kind of role?
I think so. I think absolutely. I think to have empathy and to be able to listen, to have a good idea of listening to the needs of people, and again gathering the information, knowing where to signpost them, but mostly about being able to listen and be there. I think so. I think people from a range of skill sets would really enjoy the role, I think, and could be good at it as well.
And we do have people working in the teams across the whole county from a variety of backgrounds, like Sonia said. So we've got ex-nurses, occupational therapists, ex-primary school teachers, youth workers, patient advisors from surgeries, people that have worked in job centres. So yeah, exactly as you say, all the skills that you have as an individual that you're using, particularly active listening and empathy, bringing all those to the fore. So it really is has a access for a huge variety of people to come into the career.
That's lovely. Such a wide sort of variety of people as well that can to come forward.
Yeah, brilliant. And everybody brings their experiences and their knowledge as well. So that diverse range of your knowledge and expertise from other jobs really helps the whole team, so that when we get together, if there's a particular challenge or query or question that the team has, then somebody in the room usually knows and they can help or point you in the right direction. And it's like Sonia said, having that toolkit of information really, there really is a huge amount out there for people to access in terms of activities, in terms of some free help, as well as things that might cost something. But there's usually a way that we're able to access some funds wherever we can to try and support that. But there's a lot of help that actually doesn't have huge costs or any cost to it.
There's an amazing amount of resources out there. I think one thing about social prescribing is being able to gather that one person having that info and being able to get that out to as many people as possible, and free, but also lots of things subsidised and things as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Could I ask you both, how would somebody go about becoming a social prescribing link worker?
Well,
leave that to
various ways really. So advertisements for the jobs are usually from the surgeries, quite often through the individual surgeries and the primary care networks themselves. Those are the clusters of surgeries in an area. Indeed is one of the main areas that I see jobs advertised across the country, not just in Cornwall. But then you've got quite a few of our partners who advertise individually themselves as well. So if Chaos was advertising a role, they would put their own advertisement in, and there's nothing wrong if you're interested in actually contacting organisations direct to see if there's a vacancy coming up, if you can't find it on that Indeed or maybe sometimes on the NHS websites as well. But yeah, all of our partners in the programme, so you've got, just to go through them all, we've got Age UK, Active Plus, Chaos, Cornwall Neighbourhoods for Change, the Eden Project and Pentreath. So they would put those vacancies on their own websites as well.
That's brilliant. Plenty of ways then, really.
Plenty of ways to try and get into it. I know it's difficult to shadow at the moment in many cases because of the COVID situation, and some link workers are in surgeries a little bit and some aren't able to get into surgeries. But, going forward, talk to a social prescriber. You guys are really open to having a chat to someone about the job role. I've spoken to people who are applying to an advert, just having a chat about a typical day in a link worker's life. And then once somebody starts, we obviously then put a shadowing programme for them to work alongside. But probably best thing is to talk to myself or talk to one of the link workers and say, what's it really like?
Brilliant. Now I want to bring this back to you now, Sonia. We had a little chat just now, didn't we, about what you did before this. Could you, for the viewers' sake, tell us again what do you do before this?
Well, it's a bit different. It's a bit of a pilot scheme, actually, the young person social prescriber. I'm based, which is the new thing, is that I'm based in the schools.
Right.
So I'm within student support in Richard Lander and Pen Air schools, which have been absolutely brilliant, within the student support team. And I get referrals from student support for young people that might need a bit of extra support because they have caseloads of around 250.
Wow.
And would benefit from extracurricular activities and a bit more time. So it's gone absolutely brilliantly. The schools are fantastic. Student support staff are brilliant, have welcomed me with open arms, and I've got a lovely office. And getting busier and busier, which is really, really good. And I was saying to Julie earlier that it's a bit of a mix as well. You find that it's not just working with the young people, it's often working and supporting the families around the young people. And I think that's where Chaos comes in, is so good, with things like the community food larders and the positive people projects. We've got parents that we've referred to that to support them, to sort of help with the bigger picture.
It's nice to have that network, isn't it, of different areas, different to forward, and, like I said, signpost people towards different things.
And that's been absolutely real gold dust, I think, knowing that I can kind of, ring Kylie for positive people, or speak to Babs about food box deliveries and things like that. But lots of activities for the young people, and so far it's quite early days with the role, but so far the young people seem really keen to take up the activities. And
that's really good to hear. Really good. Could you maybe give us a bit of an insight into your sort of day-to-day activities? Yeah,
so I have appointments. I'm in schools from around 8:30 till 4:30 with the student support team. I've got my own lovely office that I share with some of the student support team, which is very nice. Still getting used to being called Miss. That's definitely a new thing. That's definitely a new thing. So I have appointments with young people initially to get to know them, to find out why they're there, why they need the support, a little bit about them. With some young people, they're very forthcoming and they say straight away, I would like to do boxing, or I want to be active in some way, or try rock climbing. And with other young people, it takes a little longer and takes a few more. So I think because this is a pilot, with Laura, my manager, and with Julie, there's lots of discussions about how best to do this role, how frequently to see the young people, and we'll pull all that together, I think, and look at that.
It's a developing model, really, isn't it? And our approach, as is all social prescribing, is a very person-centred approach. So you put the individual right there at the centre, and it's like you say, it's building that rapport, that trust, and then just giving them the time to talk to you. And some people need a bit more time to sort of open up than others, and you don't have a set amount of times that you can see anybody. It's just we're here, we'll make the appointments. It seems to be working well in the school, and they come and talk to you. And the feedback, not just with the school patients, but across the board really, is from patients, is that people really appreciate the time that we're giving and being listened to. Absolutely.
And I think for me as well, you can see that being able to tailor the role and to see the young people as frequently as I need to, or they want to see me, has been made a huge difference in that a lot of them are wanting to meet weekly. And again, we're finding out about the bigger picture with the young people and their families, and ways in which we can support. So I think having the freedom that we've got to tailor the role, to take the time, which with everyone is important, but especially young people, I think, to open up, that for me has been really, really important. I feel like we're doing a great job, and there already are some great outcomes, I think, happening, and we've got great providers as well. Can't forget that. I was going to say, you were saying to me just now about it is about the networks that social prescribers have, not just with the team, but also with all the providers out there. So if somebody is interested in a couple of particular goals that you then put in order, then sometimes you might have to start from nothing and research from scratch. Other times you've got the yoga group or the equine therapy or whatever in your toolkit, and you know about it already. But it really is down to a lot of providers and what they can provide for that individual. And yet you spoke to me about the boxing earlier on as well. We've had some incredible, I'm kind of compiling a very youth specific, young people specific folder of resources, and a lot of the stuff, when you do ring up the clubs and you explain the young person's situation and their interest in it. We've had Newquay Boxing Academy, for instance, sponsor 3 young people, not only for the lessons, but they're brilliant. Richie was there. Must give him a shout out because he's been great. And they're also getting free boxing gloves to keep for themselves after they attend 6 sessions. So the 3 young women that we've got going along to that are really looking forward to it and very chuffed. But lots of other clubs. Becky Higgins, I mentioned, through Volunteer Cornwall, has just been an absolute oracle for me, sending me loads of brilliant stuff. And it's just about really ringing up, having a chat with it, explaining what your role is, and people are so open, quite often saying if there are financial constraints. And again, we have a small, there are small pots of money that we can use for certain things. But
and Becky is the early help hub co-ordinator. Bit of a mouthful, that one.
Glad you
she's based at County Hall, sort of covering the county for young people up to the age of 25. So, like you say, people like Becky will come and talk to the team. They'll let them know how they can help, because they'll take referrals from social workers or family workers, etc., and they'll work alongside. Becky will work with you as social prescribers as well. So, and like you say, all those resources. It is about sharing what's out there, so we know how to help people best of all. Really,
it's great. I think with all the information that comes from Marie at Volunteer Cornwall, there's been things that perhaps I thought I may not have used with young people that I have used, which has been acupuncture. So subsidised acupuncture, we're actually working with a young person to have home visits that they're quite open to. So there's a real mix of support and resources out there, and having that kind of compiled almost, and that to choose through has been great. So
it's really lovely to hear all of this, because I think when you start talking about social prescribing, people just have, I know I definitely had a sort of stereotypical view of I might have to go to my doctor and talk about this, and then you don't think about what could come of it. For me, it feels like, I'm going to go and talk to someone about something, and something may come of it, or something may not. But to hear just how much you're all doing, and just how many people you're affecting, and also how many companies are willing to help and do these kinds of wonderful things. It's so different to what I first perceived before I understood fully what it is. And I really hope people do continue coming to you guys as much as obviously needed. What I do want to say is I love how person-centred, like you said, it is. People, especially for children and teenagers, a lot of the time I think they feel not listened to very well, and you give them that time and that space, and you'll soon find out what it is they need or what it is they want, and it's so helpful.
And being able to offer those things to them quite quickly, to be able to say, we've got young people who've said we're interested in swimming, and there's free swimming lessons weekly that we book them into, or there's young people who mentioned the boxing this week, and we've got them going Saturday morning and things. So it's quite quick for them, and I think for young people, that's especially in this time, it's quite frustrating. They've been in lockdown. School
they need that responsiveness.
They need that.
Really.
They need the time to be able to open up, to let you know what they want to do, but then to be able to give them those things, as quickly as we can, because of the great kind of all the people in the background has been.
And it's their
fantastic.
Choice as well. So I assume that these patients spoke up to you and said that you were talking to them about their interests, and they came out with the boxing idea. So then and then I looked for because if it doesn't come from the individual, they're not going to own it. They're not going to move on with things, and that's how you sort of set the goals with them. Is if boxing's your passion, or yoga or whatever it is your passion, and you're going to help them to move forward with that, then they're going to want to do it because it's something they really want to do. You're not being told what to do at all. Social prescribing is about your choice, looking at what you feel you want to prioritise the best for you, and people own it then, don't they?
Yeah, and we've had, I think what you were mentioning as well, Pudge, in that we've got so many people offering their services for free. We're looking at, with the student support teams in both schools, we're looking at some group work as well, doing some alternative therapies around wellbeing, where people have offered their time, from Newquay Orchard, sound bath, for instance, Newquay yoga, centre, you know,
Yeah.
yin yoga and things like that as well. So there's a lot of people out there offering really valuable resources, which has been great, which we're tapping into and definitely.
And like you said, getting a turnaround so quick as well on the kind of things that you're being asked about, like the boxing, it's going to renew faith in people to maybe speak up a bit more. Because if something like they speak and something happens, that's going to make them think, oh, maybe I should speak up a bit more often, rather than stay hidden away, hold things back, and obviously in a nasty spiral. So it's really lovely. It really is just heartwarming to hear.
It's lovely to be working within it.
It's feel-good stuff, isn't it?
You know,
It definitely
we're
is,
like,
yeah.
we love our jobs.
Yeah,
We're so
absolutely.
lucky to be able to do something where you know it's really making a difference for people. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, there are some services that are extremely overloaded, and you have to refer and you have to wait on a waiting list.
Of course.
But alongside that happening, if you can work with individuals as the team does, to say, well, you know, whilst that's going forward for you, are there other things that we can help with? So, you know, that person who goes to a certain group or class might be on the waiting list for some counselling or, you know, a certain referral for housing or whatever. But if they can do something they really like, that also helps them along the way, they can be doing that alongside the referral. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean,
So it doesn't feel like nothing's happening.
No,
does it,
and I
you
think,
know?
especially with young people, it's about being very honest about what you can offer and what you can't, and what your role is. I think, but having something to offer them is really, really important, I think.
Well, you've both given me a few different sort of things that have happened, some lovely stories. I'm going to ask you now, it's a nice question to finish on, but it's often awkward. What would you say would be your favourite, maybe say part of the role?
Could I go? I know, could I go first? So, yeah.
Go for it.
I think for me it's been working with young people face to face, so having the time, again, because it's a pilot, and because I'm not based in a GP surgery and I'm in a school, I'm having the time to sit with them and to have chats with them, and they're popping in on their lunch breaks or when they're struggling in class. I'm finding even after it's week 4 now that they're coming in if they're struggling with class, and some of the teachers are bringing them in if they need a sort of safe space to come to. So for me, it's the face-to-face work, building up that relationship with them and seeing that they actually want to come and sit with me, and sometimes it's just to have a 10-minute chat and just say, you know, my week's been okay, or this was good. So I think, for me, running around and being strategic quite often and doing, you know, it's nice to do the face-to-face for me. I've been really enjoying that.
Yeah.
Well, I totally get that. Having done a lot of face-to-face work with young people in schools and colleges and with adults over the years before doing this role, absolutely. You know, there's nothing quite like the reward when that person's actually ready to move on and achieving and a lot happier in themselves. However, from my point of view, starting this whole project off, 3.5 years ago, with the bid, if you like, the bid paper and the funding, then to have seen it grow and seen how successful with the thousands and thousands of referrals that the whole team have been able to deal with in the county, plus then creating that county-wide network and trying to bring the social prescribers all together and sharing good practice and developing, making sure that there's opportunities for new training and so on, and seeing them, you know, yourselves all develop and grow, is really rewarding for me. So, you know, and to see that we are able to, like the idea of the children and young people's development projects like yours and a couple of others in the team now, you know, it's great to, you know, listen to people and then get the feedback, but then try and keep developing and make things work, because not one size, as we know, doesn't fit all. So to keep this moving, you know, the social prescribing movement is huge now, because obviously social prescribing has been rolled out through all of the primary care networks across England, which is, you know, absolutely phenomenal. We didn't expect that to happen so quickly. So I think, being part of all of it and seeing it develop is, you know, brilliant for me. Thank you.
Well, that's lovely. It's lovely to see how sort of passionate you both are about it. I think I said this last time
Yeah,
as well.
you did,
And
yeah.
it shines through, and you need that as well to be able to deal with this, because I can imagine there are some less than shiny spots about things. You've got to deal with a few situations and issues. People may not be so happy about things, but you just keep on going and make sure that people have a good outcome, and it shows. It really does show. And I want to say a big thank you to both of you for coming in today. It's been lovely to chat with you both. Sonia, thank you for coming in as well, obviously.
Thanks,
it's been really lovely, and obviously Julie, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
On our now regular slot. I still can't believe it's been a month. It really does feel like I was in here yesterday with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Time flies.
Well, again, thank you so much to both of you.
Pleasure.
Social Prescribing obviously provides great support, especially to those in Cornwall. It's so well needed.